Right, the lights are on, jobs are good, and we're recording, we're in focus. Let's go. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the car. I promised you I'd do the Notts County night game that I shot last Friday. I promised you I'd get it out for Wednesday. Oh, what a silly promise. Anyway, I'm determined to get it out for you. Hopefully you're watching this on Wednesday night. But yeah, I'm in the car. I've brought Harry to Air Cadets tonight, and it's about half an hour from home, so instead of shooting back and then coming back later on and not getting a video out tomorrow night, Wednesday, thought I'd shoot it from the car. So I've chosen my set. I've got the laptop wobbling on my knee. You can probably hear the fan going on my battery pack that's charging my laptop, and I've got a torch on it for a bit of side light. I've got another light perched on just on the sun visor, and we're off. We're about right. We're studio ready. So anyway, without further ado, let's jump into the set. Right, yeah, so I was at Notts County for the FA Cup game against Alfreton Town. Bit of a local derby, really. Notts County, 2nd Division. Alfreton Town, I think they're non-league. Vanarama non-league, so quite a distance, but a local derby nonetheless. And as you can see here, I got there, went straight from work, got there about 6 o'clock. And I want to really show you the settings that I use, but obviously quite slow for this one. I'm at a wide angle look. I'm at F9 just to make sure I get most of the scene sharp. F9 down to 1/25 of a second, so really slow shutter speed. Exposure compensation, I'm in auto ISO and I whack that down, look, the exposure compensation to get it right. I'm at ISO 2000, so plenty big enough really, but yeah, so that one, and then just walked along the ground a bit and got another GV. Settings are the same. Now this one, look, I went, because I'm down and I got a bit more light bouncing off the grass, I went up to aperture of F16 just to get everything nice and sharp. Keeping my eye out for lots of grain, obviously lots of noise, and at ISO 3200 for this one, look. So I'm not going to go through all the settings, but keep your eye on them. I'll highlight them if I think anything's different. And one thing that's not showing on here is white balance. Now I set both cameras into Kelvin and set it to K5000, I think, 5000 kelvins, and that seemed to do the right sort of colours. So I tried auto ISO, but it was just a bit flat. Auto colour balance, and it was just a bit flat, so I went into kelvins and set it to 5000, and I was getting some nice colour on it, as you can see here. So I stuck in that for the whole night. Another GV just through the net, and just tried to get both floodlights nice and central in the square of the net, so that was good. Went outside. Now I said to you in last week's video I want to get people with their vapes on and some smoke coming off with backlit. Never really got anything, and I didn't want to spend too long out there, so just a slow shutter speed again. Look, 15th for this, and I don't mind if these people are blurred because it shows a bit of action. It shows that they're walking to the ground. Obviously you've got the floodlights here, look, and some street lights, and the splash, I think it's Splash on the Lane is this monument, this statue, so I just thought I'd try and get that. Wanted to keep this quite dark. This is on the 70 to 200, f2.8, I'm at ISO 4000, look, still at an 80th, so still pretty slow, but they stopped and were just checking their tickets, so got that one, and just milling about really, trying to get something, but bit of a general view of the ground, look, and general ticket collections. He's a bit burnt out, look, but quite a balance between getting that exposed so that you can read it, and him not being too burnt out. But just ticket collections. These guys buying some programs. Would have been nice if there was something better than a bit of graffiti on a container in the background, but I'm just shooting just to try and get something, just to document the night really. And then just stood back a bit, composed the floodlights going into the ground and some fans walking past. Again, what are we settings at here? So I'm at 16,000 ISO here, look, and you can see there is a bit of grain, but it's not bad on the R5 at 16,000, look. And 40th of a second for this. Wanted to get the fans just a little bit blurred. Could have come down a bit more really, I suppose, but I'm all handheld, so Didn't want to make too much wobble. This was probably my favourite really. I wanted to use the car lights as a bit of a backlight, and it's just shining on these fans as they're walking towards the ground. And quite picturesque, these two look, with his long beard and that, and his scarf hanging out his pocket, got his shorts on, tattoo. I think that must obviously be, I think it's his son or daughter, not sure, with the scarf and that on, and it's just nicely backlit. So got them two walking towards the ground, and then time to go into the ground, got the ref warming up, and again I'm at 2.8, look, so all the lights in the background are glistening nicely, so that made a nice shot. What speed am I at on that one? I'm at 1600th there, look, so that I'm getting him nice and sharp, and I'm confident that there's not going to be too much grain, not in his face and that anyway. And look, I'm at 10,000 ISO there. So, oh, my light's running out. I better hurry up with this video. It's going to be a quick one, this one. My lights are going to run out. And my battery pack. But anyway, managers coming out. Just getting a few of the managers getting ready for kick-off. One of the ball. Thought I'd better get one of the ball with FA Cup on it, Emirates FA Cup on it. And again, makes a nice backdrop with these lights. Look sort of in a pear drop shape. What am I at there? I'm at 4,000. I'm at 400th there. Could have whacked that down really, but I've opened the screen up. I'm not knelt down. I've opened the screen up, and I'm just hand holding it with the screen, looking down at the screen. So yeah, and then here we are, straight into the action. I'm down to 12/50th, look, because the lights weren't that clever. But obviously, if I can, during the day, daylight hours, 0.02 of a second shutter speed, gospel all the time. But I had to wind it down for the lights so that I didn't get too high an ISO, look. So I'm at 12/50th here, which is probably the slowest you can go really. Look, you can see the ball's a bit soft. Keeper looks all right, and that's quite a crop as well on the R3, on the 70 to 200, at 200mm, look. Just general action, I'm just going through some action for you really. What we at now, look, I'm at 1600th, so because they're in the centre of the pitch, and the floodlights are at their best, and there's good light, I've knocked it up to 1600th here, look, but I'm still at 10,000 ISO, so I was up and down on the shutter speed all the time to compensate, because obviously, that's on the 400 look, that's the first goal I think. Alfreton scored first. And I was just blocked for the goal, but that's him just turning round. Look, the ball's just hit the back of the net. Keeper's on his all fours, look, and he's just turning round. He's scored. I'm on the 400, 800 ISO, 8,000 ISO there. Look, 1600th still. And then obviously we've got he did run towards the Alfreton fans, which was nice. So got some nice celebrations. Obviously there was a bit of a shame there was no fans in the bottom tier of the ground, at the stand. Just where the away fans were, but got a bit of a knee slide. They let off a flare, and I did miss it, but I just got the remnants of it, so I thought I'd take that. Down to 12/50th for that, look, at 70, 16,000 ISO, but you can see it's fine, look, not too grainy. And then you can see here the shadows, look, because they're in the corner. I'm at 800th there, look, I've really come down. I must have knocked my aperture, but without knowing, on the 70 to 200, I must have knocked it when I've dropped it down my side. So I'm at 3.2 there, so a bit of a mistake there. Should have been at 2.8, should have kept an eye on that. And I'm down to 800th, look. But because there's slow tackling, the ball's still nice and sharp. They're nice and sharp at 800th. So it just shows you, 800th, you can get away with it if you need to, especially when they're in the corner, because the corners of the pitch, the floodlights tend to miss it a bit, and it's always a bit darker at these poorly lit grounds. But got away with that, just look, you can just see their eyes, so took a bit of shadows out of that one, I think. And then back on the managers, just keeping an eye on them. 20,000 ISO there, look, but I am back up to 1600th. That's on the 400. Again, coming back to the corner, wanted to capture the action. I've back to 2.8 now, look, I must have noticed, but I'm at 1600th there, because they must have ran towards me pretty quick. 20,000 ISO there, but it looks fine, look, love the R5. Brilliant quality with that 45 meg sensor, and you don't suffer much grain. Is the first goal, I think, of Notts County. Number 29 scored. It was blocked for it, obviously far end, and then they went in. I think I'm just getting a few of nothing of the celebrations really. Here's his second goal. They went in at half time at 1 apiece, so I stayed Alfreton attack because they were doing really well, but ended up being 5-1 to County, didn't it, to the Magpies. But anyway, it's the Magpies, isn't it? Yeah, Magpies, yeah, I'm sure it is. Notts County, tell me if I'm wrong, I'm getting mixed up. But sat in this car park, I'm in a local leisure centre car park, and there's people coming and going. But anyway, we'll plough on. Yeah, so this is Jota's second goal. Managed to capture that quite nicely. Just put it under the keeper's foot, look, and into the goal. Nice sequence. Not great because it's far end and he's facing away from me, but showing that your goal. I mean, as I say, probably not great that one, but he's scoring and it's backs, players' backs, not great, but he scored it. Bit of a celebration, kissed the floor, kept on him, and he walked towards me and pointed towards the sky, so that's all right. What we are, that's all on 1600th, look. 10,000th, gone up to 16,000 there for that first goal. 12,800, 10,000 ISO, so we're still at massive ISOs, but obviously the play's far end, and I've stayed at 1600th, look. But anyway, we're going through that, let's carry on. Trying to keep an eye on these settings for you. But bit more celebration there. And then Alfreton did have a bit of an attack, so he was doing some really long throw-ins, so because he was doing some good throw-ins right into the box, just thought I'd snap him getting ready for a throw in there. 1600th, 12,800, look, f2.8. And again, always in Kelvin. I stayed in Kelvin all night. So just a general view, look, with the floodlight, what we at there. So that's at 70mm, 2.8, kept it at 1600th, just to make sure all the players, because I'm not panning with them, they're all nice and sharp. And then here's a penalty. This is going to be, just going to be 4-1 or 5-1. I did miss a goal. And the celebration was very much of a muchness, that's why I've not saved it. But I think this is a penalty for 4-1, I think. Yeah, so as you can see, quite a big crop on the 400. I keep reading these settings out for you. Look, 10,000 ISO, 1600 shutter. That looks nice. That looks nice and sharp, that. And I'm not editing these much, not taking any exposure out anyway, or adding any. This is as it was. Yeah, this is the penalty, look, just going in, number 14, slots it, other side of the keeper, sends in the wrong way. Just a bit of a laugh and a whatever. And then this is him scoring again, so this will be 5-1 now. I think, I'm sure it is 5-1. So he scored his second, he scored the penalty. Nutmeg number 23, look. Into the, again, players' backs, not great, but it's the best of the goal. And then I think this is probably not far off full time. Wanted to get a bit of dejection because Alfreton had a great first half, and then second half they just ran off the park. So a bit of dejection there, look, from number 8. And I think he was the captain. Yeah, he was Alfreton's captain. And then he brought number 14 off, so just a bit of a high five with the manager. Look at his face. Look, looks like a bit of a ghost because just the greens reflecting on his face, which I thought was quite good. So I actually left him in it, but just so as not to crop in too much and lose quality. And he added to the frame. So, and then here we are, full time. Bit of dejection. What we at now? I'm still at 1600th. I really should have wound that down to probably 1200th, 1250th, or even 1000th, because the players are just at walking speed. So always bear that in mind, and you know it will affect the ISOs. And then the players, I ran just sort of opposite where the Alfreton Town fans were, and they all came and applauded the fans for travelling. And just some general views. Then I've knocked it down to 1250 here. Look, 1250th. Knock that down. So they're still clapping in that, and I don't want any blurred hands, so 1250th's about right. Could have gone down to 1000th really, my bad there, because the ISO's at 12.8, look. But you can see in the sky there's not a lot of grain, so it's not too bad, and the players are nice and sharp. So yeah, just to finish off really, and that's it, applauding the fans, and that's it, so yeah. So there's some night settings of what I use anyway, guys. So yeah, I decided to go into Kelvin at 5000, but the good thing is, you can alter the kelvins and keep looking at the live screen, and it alters the colour and the contrast as you wind it up and down to get your setting right. So I settled on 5000, and it did the trick. The reds are nice, you know, the reds were good, the blacks were good, the whites probably a little bit underexposed. Some of these on the far crops could have probably lightened them up a bit, but I didn't want to create any more grain. So yeah, quite happy really, and it was nice to do a floodlit game, and atmosphere was all right, and yeah, jobs are good. And 5-1 Notts County, and just a shame I didn't get many more, you know, more variety of the, you know, I didn't set the scene outside the ground, but there weren't a lot of lights really. I was looking for some lights on the side of walls and fans congregating underneath them, you know, to get them backlit, but there just wasn't. But anyway, just a quick video tonight, guys, a midweek video from the car. But anyway, let me know if you've done any night games, and if you do any, you know, do it a different way, any different settings or whatever. I mean, as you saw on one of them images, I had to go down to 800th when they came to the corner, but you've just got to assess it as you're shooting, and that's the beauty of these mirrorless. I do feel spoiled having a mirrorless, really, because I know some of you guys are not quite mirrorless yet, but you can see in that live viewfinder, as the players, especially at night games, it's the first night game I've done on the mirrorless, and I could really see my exposures going down, and when I needed to flick it up, obviously a shooting manual on JPEG, and yeah, I could obviously see to knock the shutter speed down to compensate to let a bit more exposure in, a little bit more light in, with it being dark in the corners. But yeah, it keeps you on your toes anyway on a night game, as I'm sure most of you are aware. But anyway, job's a good one. I'll be back on Friday, and quite an interesting game. I was going to Port Vale, and I ended up going to Preston North End for their game against Bristol City as club photographer. So really weird to touch the grass and walk on the grass. So alien to me, putting my feet on the grass. It felt really strange, because obviously I had to go and do the sponsors and do the mascots and things like that, and I was in front of the players as they came out, and I felt lost, to be honest. But yeah, I had to stand in for Ian, their club photographer, who sadly, I think he's got an ACL injury, and he's going to be off his feet for some time, so I may be back. But yeah, a few different images to show you on Friday night, so yeah, look forward to putting that out, and that'll be back at home. Anyway, job's a good one, guys. Thanks ever so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll catch you up Friday. See you later.